I got robbed. My car got broken into. And I'll tell you how it happened. I don't think after I got robbed, I never felt so white and jolly in my life. Like, I'm just going through my life. Everything's okay. Nobody's going to rob me. So
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
May 30th through June 1st, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona at Stand Up Live. June 5th, I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at the Bama Theater. June 6th through the 8th, I'm in Dania Beach at the Dania Beach Improv. That's in Florida. June 13th through the 15th, I'm at the Chicago Improv, which is actually in Schaumburg, Illinois, suburbs. June 19th, I'm in Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone. June 20th through the 22nd, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri at the Funny Bone. June 26th through the 28th, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone. July 12th, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Pearl Theater inside the Palms Casino.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. Well, got quite a few things to talk about today. The Diddy trial is not getting any more boring. It's getting just juicier and juicier. I do want to address, like last week, me and Ali Sadiq was talking about Cassie and her role in things, and I don't want to downplay what do you call it, Stockholm syndrome, or somebody being abused and being afraid to leave. So I don't want to downplay. I do read comments. I do when we post things. I always say when people say, I don't read the comments. I do. I know when somebody's just talking shit, or I can tell when I can't have a conversation with somebody. They're just so triggered because you can't really talk to people when their lids are flipped or they just start typing in caps and wilding. But I'll read comments and be like, oh, I can see that. So I just want to say, like, of course, with the Diddy trial, of course, comedians are going to spin it and flip it and make it funny. And we're going to get on podcasts and we're going to laugh about things. No different than somebody dying. No different than any kind of tragic event. Eventually, we're going to talk about it. And I think that's why people go to comedic podcasts. That's why they go to comedy shows, is they want to hear the uncomfortable stuff. So, but I do not want to downplay. I did read some comments, and I do know that Cassie was abused. I do know that she was groomed, so to speak. So I don't want people to just think I'm some heartless and anything like that. It was just me and Ali talking, and at that time, a week ago, that's who he was at in the trial. Now, here we are a week later, and hold on a second. There's nothing worse than my drinking water into the mic. That's the worst. You hear it up. I'm like, ugh. So anytime I get a drink, I'm going to step away from the mic and take a sip. But since then, Kid Cudi testified last week, and he confirmed everything we thought. He confirmed that he was dating Cassie. He confirmed that he believes Diddy blew up his car. He did talk to Diddy about it, and Diddy said something like, hey, man, I'm sorry about that, right? I'm like, ooh, this is what I've learned through this whole Diddy case. My sex history and sex life is boring as fuck. I'm a PG movie. I'm Aladdin. I am Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I am boring because that stuff, the whole Punisher, this guy, the Punisher, the stripper that they hired, and the what do you call it? The role playing. I think the worst. Okay, I thought the worst was Cassie sleeping with a dude, and then him nutting on her, and then going in the other room and wiping his nut on Diddy's nipple. I go, where do you even come up with that? What I mean, at what point have you had so much sex and done so much stuff with people that you're like, you know what I want? I want my girl, my main girl, to sleep with another guy and have him nut on her and then wipe his nut on my nipple. Yeah. And I'm going to jack off the whole time they're doing it. In what world do we live in? So I thought that was the worst till they said Diddy's penis looks like a Tootsie Roll. And I go, I think that's worse. I think that's worse than everything. Everything that's been said about if I'm Diddy, I'm like, I can come back from that. I can spin that. I can flip that. But the Tootsie Roll penis, have you seen a Tootsie Roll? You see how tiny they are? Bing! That's hard to come back from, baby. That's hard. So obviously now we're starting to get into the workers, and we're starting to, there hasn't really been many things about guns. Diddy definitely was a threatening person. I'd say what you should do. What you should do is listen to Suge Knight's interview from prison a year ago. Everything we're finding out in this trial, Suge Knight said in this interview. And let me tell you what podcast it is. It is, but Suge Knight, not that he foreshadowed it, but everything he said in that is coming out in this trial so far. God, I wish I knew the guy. Hold on. It is BPD. That's what it was. It is the BPD podcast. Look it up on YouTube. It came out 1 year ago. It's with Patrick Bet-David, and Vincent Oshana. And Suge is calling in from prison, and everything that we're finding out, Suge kind of said, was this a learned behavior? Because did he just come up with this, or was he taught this? And then we're pretty sure this is a learned behavior from Clive Davis. So that's who funded a lot of Diddy's first albums and stuff like that. So it's pretty, I listened to it. It's pretty eye-opening. I don't want to give bad information on my podcast. So if nothing else, listen to Suge Knight. If you want to find it directly on podcast, on YouTube, Suge Knight opens up about Diddy, Dre, Tupac, Biggie, and Eazy-E. BPD podcast episode 400. And it premiered April 19th, 2024. And it's crazy because Suge's calling in from prison, and you'll hear the prison thing come on, and they got to cut it off every 15 minutes. And then he has to call back because I guess prison phone calls can't be over 15 minutes. But it's pretty eye-opening. It's pretty eye-opening. And isn't it funny how when Tupac died, everybody thought, Diddy had something to do with it, or Suge had something to do with it. And then when Biggie died, everybody thought Suge had something to do with it. Suge kind of made a good point. He goes, Tupac dying doesn't benefit me at all. It actually hurt me. It hurt my pockets. It hurt everything. Everything me and Tupac was building. So I had nothing to gain. Suge Knight had nothing to gain by Tupac dying. Diddy had a lot to gain when Biggie died. Now we're finding out Biggie was not happy with some deals. He was thinking about leaving. There was a lot of stuff bubbling beneath the surface. But that was pretty eye-opening. I never thought about that. That Diddy really benefited from Biggie dying at that point if Biggie was going to leave him. But Suge had nothing to gain by Tupac dying. So, I don't know. I would listen to it. It's pretty good. So, yeah. And I'm sure we'll have more to come in the next week. Every week, it's just you don't think it can get worse or more surprising. Then it's whoa. Diddy's got a good, I ain't gonna lie though. Diddy's got a good defense team, because the one thing that got me was when They had Kid Cudi on the stand, and he said, "Did you know Cassie was still seeing Diddy?" And he said, "No." And then he said, "Did you know that when Cassie left you, did she say anything?" He said, "No, not really." He said, "So basically, Cassie led you on and Diddy on," is basically what they said. I was like, "Ooh, that was good. I didn't think about that." He's like, "So Cassie led Diddy on because you was messing with Kid Cudi, and she led you on because she was also messing with Diddy. So now they're saying Cassie was leading both guys on." I was like, that was a nice little twist that I wouldn't have saw coming. But that's why Diddy pays all the money for the defense attorneys. So we'll see how it all plays out. Another thing in hip hop news was Tory Lanez getting stabbed, and they released the video of him getting stabbed. You can see it on TMZ. It's pretty disturbing. What's more shocking is the guy just literally goes on full attack after Tory Lanez, but then nobody helps. You see one dude start to walk because they're in the prison, and it's at the very top of this staircase. It's like on the second level, second tier, and Tory's like just walked up the steps, and the guy comes out and just starts stabbing him, and Tory's fighting him off, and then you see this one dude start to walk up the stairs, went and just came back down and left, and I was like, boy, prison politics, boy. Nobody jumped in. Then Tory ran down the stairs, and then they released a picture of him. It's definitely him all stabbed up. And then the guy said he heard Tory had a hit out on him. And I'm going, I don't know if I believe that. Here's the thing. A guy's got life in prison. The guy that Tory Lanez, and let's take whatever Tory Lanez is in jail for out of it. Like, this isn't about Meg Thee Stallion. This isn't about her best friend. This is just face value. Tory Lanez is in jail. This other guy's in jail. Tory Lanez is getting out. Would he get 10 years, but good behavior and everything else, he'll be eligible for parole in a couple more years. The guy that stabbed Tory Lanez got life. But yet the guy that stabbed Tory Lanez said he heard Tory Lanez had a hit out on him. For what? I just don't believe that. Because I'm going, there's no way the guy that's going to be out in a couple years is going to put a hit out on a guy that's got life over what, some girl or some prison politics. I guarantee you that ain't happening. So it was a nice way to spin it, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Now, the one sounded more realistic was Tory hit on a girl he was talking to. The guy with life in prison. I don't know if the girl came to visit him or somehow Tory got wind, and Tory, the guy with life, what he deemed disrespectful, Tory Lanez talked about a girl. That seems more logical to me than Tory Lanez put a hit on a guy with life in prison when he's about to get out in a couple years. So obviously that guy in life can't say that because that's not going to get you anywhere. He's got to say, I was in fear for my life by Tory Lanez, which I don't think anybody believes. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm glad Tory's all right. Regardless of how I feel about the case, which still has a lot of question marks, I don't want to see nobody get hurt in prison, especially if that's a big if it comes out Tory didn't do anything. That's a big if. So I'm not gonna say what I think happened because my head spins every week on that case too. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't want to see nobody get stabbed there. But yeah, that doesn't ring true to me. In what world do you live in? The guy that's getting out in a couple years put a hit on a guy that's got life. For what? Tory Lanez in prison? Take away the money and the fame. Tory Lanez is a little dude. Come on, what are you worried about? He ain't about to do nothing to you. Stop. I'm like, cap. All right, well, enough about that. I had an interesting week, I'll say the least. I got robbed. My car got broken into. And I'll tell you how it happened. I'm driving. This is last week. And I have the bank receipt. I left the bank at 1:35 p.m., Bank of America. And I'm literally driving by a B of A. And it was so spur of the moment. I drove by. I've had a Bank of America account for a couple years, and I don't use it. I pretty much bank at different banks, but not Bank of America. So I go in, and I said, I'm going to close my account. There's been some fraud on a B of A. What made me like first go into Bank of America, there's been some fraud on my Bank of America credit card. So I had to shut that down. And so I went in, I'm just going to shut my account down. I didn't even really know how much was in it. So I go in and I shut the account down. Lady goes, well, how do you want your funds? I said, can you wire it? And she goes, well, it's too late now. You already closed your account. I said, oh, yeah. So I was like, I don't know, whatever easiest. She said, you want a cashier's check or cash? I said, either. So they gave me cash. This is Gary. Like, I don't think after I got robbed, I never felt so white and jolly in my life. Like, I'm just going through my life. Everything's okay. Nobody's going to rob me. So, one, I have a pretty nice car. It's black. It's got a lot of tin on it. I don't even see the Walmart behind the Bank of America. I'm not paying no attention. I saw it driving down the highway, see a B of A. I pulled in. Bing. I'm in there for about an hour. And I'm so frustrated because I just want to get this money and get out of there and close the account so I ain't got to worry about it no more. And they give me the cash. It's in my front pocket. I get in my car. I'm driving. I'm about to go home. And I'm so glad I didn't. Because I didn't realize people was following me. And what I think it was an inside job or somebody was sitting around the parking lot or the gas station next to it, scoping out nice cars and following people. And so I get the cash. I'm in my car. I drive to the gym. I said, I'm just going to go to the gym real quick and sit in the sauna for a little bit. I wasn't even really working out. I was in the gym 45 minutes. And I come out. And I have all this receipt. I got this all stamped. 1:30, I'll tell you, 1:35 p.m. on May 21st, I checked out of Bank of America. At 1:59 p.m., a gym 3 miles down the road, I checked into the gym. So it's 24 minutes from the time I left Bank of America to the time I went to the gym. And I remember I sat on the phone talking to somebody for like 10 minutes before I even went in the gym. I'm sitting in the parking lot. That means some dudes was waiting. And I'm so oblivious. Sometimes life gives you checks and balances, and I definitely got one last week. So I go into work, not work out. I go and sit in the sauna. I get a smoothie. I mean, does it get any more like dad type stuff? So I go in. I come out 45 minutes later. The security guard is in a golf cart. This gym, I parked right in front of a camera. So we do have everything on camera. The detectives has it. I'm just waiting to see it. And of course, there's going to be cameras at B of A. So there's cameras at both places. And there's highway cams. It was 3.5 miles from the bank to the gym, and it was a straight shot, no turns. So I come out, and the security guard is sitting next to my car, and he's like, yeah, they got you. And I went, huh? They got you. We got videos. We're going to show videos here. They went into all 4 windows, and they finally got in through the passenger rearview window. But this didn't take 30 seconds. This took minutes to get into the car. It's, the Audis. I got an Audi, and Audis are like tanks, and I got tin on the windows, so that makes it harder. But you could see in all 4 windows where they was pounding trying to get in. And they finally broke that back one, and they got in, and they went right for the cash in the middle of the car from Bank of America. And then they didn't get nothing else, though. They didn't realize there was other stuff in the car. I had a little bit of jewelry in the car. They got the big thing, what they should have got. But they didn't. There was other stuff. I was like, wow, they completely missed that. That means they just lift that middle compartment, grabbed the cash in the B of A envelope, and took off. So when I look at the security guard, this dude didn't get a description. He didn't see a car. And the funny part is I parked away from everybody because I don't like getting dings in my car. You park too close to people, you can get a ding in your car. I purposely parked away from where all the other cars was at the gym so I wouldn't get a ding. Should have parked near everybody. I should have parked right near the gym. Because my theory was whenever you go to the gym, I never understood people that try to park as close as they can to the entrance. I usually park as far away as I can because you got to walk. Get some steps in. That's the old man in me coming out. That's the old man. I get them 10,000 steps a day. That's what the doctor says to keep the heart attacks away. So I park as far away as I can. I parked all by myself. Wasn't no other car in sight. And the fact that the security guard, who is on a golf cart, driving around the parking lot, didn't see nothing. And then I'm not blaming him, but I'm like, dude, what were you doing? Were you phone boning? Was you looking at TikTok? Like, what was going on that you didn't see this at all? So anyways, the gym's being real cool. That's why I'm leaving it nameless, because they're being cool. They gave me a couple months, because it's not their fault. It's not the gym's fault. But Bank of America, I'm like, I don't. When I first moved to Texas, I was like, I'm going to switch to Bank of America. And I don't know why I did that. That lasted a couple months. Let me tell you why I don't bank with Bank of America. A couple reasons. One, I have to send wires out every month. I have alimony. I have to pay my manager. I got to pay my agent. I got to pay my web people. People think when you're in the entertainment business, you're just making money. No, you got to spend money too. You got a lot of money going out. So I have wires that I need to go out every month. And they're usually at the same time every month. And the bank I've been with for the last 8 years, I got my banker. We're on autopilot. He already knows if something goes wrong, I call him. He handles it. It's really great. It's Fifth Third Bank, and I got them out of Cincinnati. And I know they're not nationwide, but God bless Fifth Third Bank. I mean, to me, they're the shit. So my guy at Fifth Third is the best. Shouts out to Andy. I don't give his last name, but I can text him. He could be on vacation. He could be anywhere. He'll get stuff done for me. But that's why you're in the private banking sector also. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Cash App. Now listen, there's all kinds of different ways to send money nowadays, but it seems like every time somebody wants me to send money, or even I do it, when I'm like, yo, can you send me the money? First app out of my mouth is Cash App. The first. It's before all the others. It's like, that's the first you say. You got Cash App? You got Cash App? You got Cash App? If you don't have Cash App, why don't you have Cash App? It's the safest way to send and receive money. And then what I like about it, I don't like to do boring transactions. I like to put a little stamp, little emoji, little extra something. Why make that that meal boring? Let's talk about it. Let's bring it up and bring a smile to our face when thinking about that meal. So listen, we have a special offer right now from Cash App. So for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's absolutely no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. It's easy. Use our exclusive referral code, get some in your profile. Send $5 to a friend. Within 14 days, you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms do apply. That's money. That's Cash App, baby. Bro, when I went with B of A, and I was never going to close Fifth Third. I wanted a local bank when I moved to Texas. And the first time I asked, hey, I need this wire sent out, the guy was like, no, we don't do that. You got to do that. I go, huh? I was like, I don't have time to do that. And he was like, yeah, we got to get this approval. It was a hassle. I go, never mind. I'm going to just keep majority of my business in Fifth Third, and I'll keep some in Bank of America. And then I'll never forget when I went to go get my house. Oh, my God. Bank of America made me jump through more hoops than I was like, they cost me so much money between my accountant and my tax attorney. Just send him emails and all this other stuff. And it was a lot of nothing because B of A was looking to approve me for this loan. And I was going, and then when I finally called my private banker at B of A, I said, what is going on? Because they had me in the home loan department. And they were like, well, the problem is I had some IRS debt and that I pay off every month. Another wire that goes out every month. Never missed a payment. It's almost paid off. I've overpaid the debt once I got divorced and everything. And that was B of A's big thing. And that's what had them going back and forth with my accountant, my tax attorney. And literally, the private banker of B of A goes, I said, we got to get this done. You guys have cost me so much money, and you ain't even approved me yet. They go, well, the problem is every bank, when they see your IRS debt, they're gonna not approve you. Every bank approved me. I went to B of A first, thinking this is my bank, this is my Texas bank. I'm building a house in Texas. Nope. They didn't disapprove me. They just was taking forever. And they wanted all these just different things. But Fifth Third, check. Cadence, check. Chase, check. Everybody said yes, like no problem. Except Bank of America. My bank, the bank I was going to go to. The bank that now I got robbed leaving. I can't, I see B of A, I start itching. I tell you that. I drive by, I just give it the bird every time. That bank has cost me so much money in the 2 years now. I got robbed leaving the B of A. I basically got robbed trying to get a home loan from B of A. And there's like no the home loan thing got me. That's when I knew I was done with Bank of America. But there's no how can I say it? We're going to make it right. We want to keep you as a banker here. It's just like, we tried. Couldn't do it. I'm just like, what got me is when I was like, what can we do? I want to get this done. And they was like, well, the problem is, Gary, every bank you go to, they're going to see this IRS debt and you're going to be disapproved. And I went, what? Every bank. Bing, bing. I said, no. My income is more than the debt and I pay it off every month. I'm like, I know how this works. I have proof that I'm not delinquent on anything. I'm just going, and now I get robbed leaving a B of A? Good riddance. So, little silver lining. I talked to a couple close friends of mine about it. Come to find out, I get robbed. I go to my insurance to see if I can recover the cash. And I knew that was a long shot. See if I recover, what they can cover on the repairs and stuff like that, like everybody does. And they went back and re-looked at everything and putting everything under one umbrella, car insurance, homeowner insurance, everything. And come to find out, I qualify for another policy that saves me $240 a month. So what is that? What's that time? Let's look. What's that times 12? It shouldn't be that hard, really. But my brain's not there, so I'm going to use my calculator. 240 times 12 equals $2,880. I'm going to save every month. Every year. So, bang. Yeah, I got robbed, but you got to find a silver lining in things, people. I'm about to save $2,880 a year, and I would have never done that if I didn't get robbed. So, bang, bang, couple years, I made money off that robbery. That's what I'm talking about. Tell you what else I did. Went and got a gun. Did that the next day after I got robbed because, I used to be a cop, but I ain't carried a gun in years. But that was a wake-up call. And it is true. Guns are pretty easy to get in Texas. I was like, this is way easier than I thought. They just did a background check and we filled out everything. The guy literally is like, bro, you qualify for everything. I was like, what? He was showing me like the big automatic weapons. I don't want that. But over here. So, I grabbed what I wanted. And now I have I'm a fully licensed gun owner. And I have pistols and I got hollow points. And I hope I never use it. So, but yeah, that was that's a heck of a week. But I was talking to somebody else. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said he got robbed. He'd been in Texas for 20 years. This is an ex-pro athlete. I'm telling him the story, and he says, "Oh man, I got hit up one time." He said he got the footage. I haven't seen my footage yet. Trust me, as soon as we get that footage, we're posting on the podcast. Guarantee that. Fast as hell, I'm about to post that, making these boys famous that robbed me. Because they're going to have footage. We got the Bank of America cameras and the gym camera. I'm so glad I parked right in front of the gym. Now, that security guard didn't get a description, but people playing pickleball did. That's a heck of a day of pickleball right there. 2 pickleball players saw who it was. So I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was telling me he's been in Houston for 20 years. He got robbed once. He said, it was very similar. They staked him out. I think that's the scary part, is when you know you're being followed and you didn't pay attention. That's the scary part. Like you will never see me go in a bank again. Ever. All my stuff's going to be on my phone, online banking, or I'm in a private banking sector. I'm going into the corporate office. But you will never see me walk into a bank again. This was an eye-opening experience for me. It really was. I'm not glad it happened. I'm glad nothing got hurt. Everything can be replaced. But I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said he left the gym and met some people for lunch, and he got hit, but they just got his gym bag with some clothes in it. And he said when they got the footage, it was 2 guys, and they was looking at all the cars. Oh, and of course his car was nice. And they saw his, and he had a gym bag, and he put it underneath the passenger seat, and I guess the little strap was sticking out. So they thought, oh, we got a lick. He goes, they ain't getting nothing but some gym clothes, something else. But he told me another guy he used to play with, Hall of Fame football player, got robbed in Houston one time. And he said the same thing. He similar to my story. He left the bank to grab some cash. He stopped at like a CVS somewhere real quick just to run in and grab something before he went home, and they got him. They followed him from the bank, and they got him. Now, what the detective told me when I talked to him, he said, this is definitely an inside job. Either someone was in the bank and was making phone calls while you was in, or they sit outside the bank. They sit close. That's why I said I didn't pay attention to the Walmart parking lot. Where I pulled in the highway, I pulled right in front of the bank. I never realized what was behind the bank. I know there was a gas station on the side. So now I'm thinking, who was in the bank? There was 2 ladies that helped me, and then there was 2 dudes that was there the whole time that work at the bank. And while I was in there, I only saw probably 4 or 5 people total that was in the bank. But like I said, I'm not paying it. It's the middle of the day, 1:35 p.m. And they had to break into my car between 2 and 2:30 p.m. May 21st at the gym. So, we'll get the footage. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go home. I was shook for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. You're shaking because you're like, dang, what if I would have went home? Those boys would have followed me. The thing about going home, though, I probably would have noticed if someone was following me, because where I live, there's one way in and one way out. You're going to notice if somebody's you got to make like 8 turns to get to where I live. So you're going to notice somebody making all these turns. So who's to say if they would have followed me home or if they would have just bailed at the end of it? Who's to say? But all I know is eye-opening. I was a little shook for about 2 days, I ain't gonna lie. And so I talked to some people. Then it's funny how you talk to people and they tell you their robbery stories, and you actually want to hear them like later on. Like I talked to one of my web guys, and he was telling me how him and his wife were at a party in their house, and somebody went into their safe and took money. And he goes, and you never found out who it was. And he was just like, you feel so violated. And I was like, yeah, this is what got on my nerves though, looking back on it. So the gym's being real cool, real helpful and everything. That's why I'm not blasting them. But the security guy, and he was a nice guy. You know, he wasn't doing his job that day. I think he'd admit it. But what you don't want to do when somebody just gets robbed, what you don't want to do is tell them other robbery stories that you have that I don't know anything about. So they're trying to tell me about some other person that got robbed. And I said, I don't care. I just got robbed, bro. I don't care about somebody else, another robbery story. Dude, I'm focused on me right now. That's all I'm focused on is me. I don't, like later on, yeah, but not in the moment. That's like getting shot and you got a bullet in you and somebody telling you a story about their buddy getting shot. You're like, bro, I'm shot right now. I don't care about your friend who got shot. I'm shot. That's how I felt. I felt like they were trying to build a rapport with me because you had the manager of the gym and the security guy. And I really, you're in such a fog. I could care less about other stories, you know? And the security guy was like, yo, I can't believe this happened on my watch. I take a lot of pride in my job, man. And I was like, well, you weren't doing your job today, bro. Because there's no way this was like a 5-second robbery. You'll see the video on this. They took their time and they broke that window and then they reached. I mean, this was not quick. I'll tell you that. This took a minute. I bet you when we see the footage, I bet you it wasn't quick. I bet you it's a couple minutes before they got in the car. Put money on it. Well, I don't have any. They stole it. So, but yeah, it's like even when I called my manager, and God bless my manager. I love my manager to death. She's been my manager for 20 years. When I texted her and told her everything, and she called me, even she told me a story about somebody that got robbed in Carmel, California. And I kept thinking to myself, I could care less about somebody that I don't know, that I've never heard of this story. I could care less if they got robbed. I just got robbed. Can we focus on Gary? Can I be selfish? Can we just think about me for a little bit? That's all I kept thinking. And I will say this. My opener, T-Robe. That boy called me, stayed on the phone with me, just bullshitted with me the whole time, and never made it about himself. He just talked about me. Am I good? What happened? What are they saying? How long until the tow truck gets there? It was just how you're supposed to talk to somebody when you get a phone call like that. Because I had to sit and wait for the tow truck for probably about an hour after it happened. And yeah, he just, I just was sitting in my car, the one that just got broken into, and, he stayed on the phone and just bullshit with me. But he never made it about himself. And I'll just say this to anybody out there. Anytime anybody's going through something, don't be a story topper. And don't tell them a story about you in that moment when they're going through something. And sometimes I've probably done it in the past. So I'm probably guilty of this myself. So in that instance, I'm like, okay, I have to be conscious of when somebody's sharing a story or something that happened to them traumatic, don't try to top it. Don't try to tell them something happened to you. Focus on them. Ask what they need. Ask what you can do. Just keep it on them because they want to share. I did. I just wanted to talk about the robbery. I'm cracking jokes and everything else. I was like, well, this is in the act. That's a T-Row because he goes, how does somebody get robbed and you're already cracking jokes? I said, bro, that's what we do. That is what we do. I take great comfort in knowing that whoever did this is not going to pan out in life. Whoever did this, I wish the worst on them. I hope their grandmother has her foot cut off by diabetes. I hope they go to jail and I hope somebody wipes semen on their nipples. I really hope the worst for them. I really do. There will be no me going to court and be like, it's okay. Because it's not. Yeah, anything bad to happen to these people, I hope. And that's what I know. What I know, whoever did this will never be on a first-class flight to Dubai. Ever. They're going to be on the run their whole life. So enjoy that life. And if I hope, I just hope really, really bad things. I hope ICE picks them up on accident and they weren't supposed to be deported and they still got deported. That's what I hope. Yeah. I hope they get gangbanged in prison. A lot. Yeah. That's what I hope. So, such a violation. I really don't like you, whoever you are, whoever did it. Yeah. But I take great comfort in knowing your life shit. I know you don't live in a great neighborhood. I know you don't drive a great car. I know you probably got a roommate or you still live with a family member. I know you probably have a police record. There ain't no way you could tell me people that rob cars just robbed cars their whole life and never got caught about nothing. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. So I take great comfort in that. I really do. And I hope they see this podcast because I kept thinking like, yeah, that money's probably gone. They probably got a section at a club. That's what I'm guessing. Probably bought some jewelry, something. Come buy like diamonds. Wasn't that much money, but it was enough to go to K's and get some really thin chain, like real thin, with no diamonds, just like a herring. Is that what they call it? Little herring. And I hope it gets nicked. And I really hope, I hope you're playing pickup basketball and you tear your ACL. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope you get food poisoning. I hope you go to the dentist and you got nothing but cavities. I hope you're the last COVID case and you die on a respirator. That's really what I hope. So yeah, it'd be great. That's the problem with, because my buddy works in the car industry and he says the problem with people that do stuff like this, they're out like the next day. They're just, So we'll see how it all pans out. But if you take nothing else away from this, please, when people are going through something, don't try to tell them a story about yourself or a story that has nothing to do with them. Like I said, God bless my manager. I love her to death. She's been my manager for 20 years. But in this instance, and she'll probably see this podcast, I could care less about those people that got robbed in Carmel. I was ready to get off the phone when she told me that. And my boy T-Row, man, you stayed on the phone. You called back, you kept texting, and I can't tell you what that means because you got to have those people you can call when you're a little shook. And I think like it's like some PTSD shit. Like you don't realize it till you drive away and you're like, oh, snap. Even when the tow truck driver came, she was cool as shit. We was talking about horses and she was on a farm in Sealy, Texas and everything else. And she was like, yo, you always this funny? I had her cracking up. We was dying laughing. She was cool as anything. So I guess that's just how we deal with stuff. Comedians, we just start cracking jokes and bum, bum, bum. Even on the podcast, the whole time I was like, I got robbed. And I smile. Who does that? So I can't wait to update you guys. So we'll have the video. We're gonna show the car and everything on the podcast. We're gonna show it getting towed away, so you can see they got it. You can see this was not a short break-in. This took a minute. So I'm actually looking forward to getting the footage from the detective. So they got it. They're looking at it. I'm sure they got the B of A. The good thing is I got everything time-stamped. 1:35, I leave B of A. 1:59, I check into the gym. I went nowhere in between. I left, got on my phone, talked to somebody about 10 minutes in the parking lot, and then I walked to the gym. And the whole time, somebody was watching me. That was the biggest checks and balance in my life. I'll tell you, this last week, everywhere I went, I was like this. I was like, anybody came close. What? So, and shouts out to Audi for taking care of me, put me in a nice loaner. So, been enjoying that. So while my car gets fixed, because those windows are so freaking bashed up. So yeah, so you take another way to the podcast, B of A. It's got to be the worst bank. It's got to be the worst bank. Between the home loan, me getting robbed, not sending wires. It's just like, God, you guys are really bad. And shouts out to Fifth Third Bank, especially Andy out of Cincinnati. You guys are on it. You don't realize you got something good till you try to go somewhere else. So shouts out to Fifth Third Bank, baby. Yeah, that's a great bank. Never been robbed there. I've only made deposits in Fifth Third. I've never had somebody steal. So, yeah. And, I'm sure it was a 2-3 man operation. So fuck all three of you. Whoever did it. Whoever was in on it. Yeah. Enjoy that little bit of cash. That's probably the most you'll ever see in your life at one time. Not this guy, folks. All right, y'all. Can't wait to keep you updated on this. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some Podcast.
This motherfucker Gary.